Good morning and welcome to Coffee Club. My name is Abby Smith. I'm running for mayor of Kokomo, and this is a weekly video series where I answer a personal and a policy question and we have coffee. So let's hop right into it. Today's are kind of fun. The personal question is about something that is surprising about myself or something you wouldn't expect. And I'm a pretty boring person, so this was kind of difficult at first, but I think I figured one out. If you've read my bio, you would know that I went to Purdue University, boiler up, and I studied political science, but the summer after my freshman year I was looking for a job, and I went to a landscaping company and asked if they were hiring. So I was just looking for a new skill and something different to do in the summer and thought I would try that. So thank you to Mike, who actually hired me even though I had no skills in that at the time, and took a chance. And so the thing that's surprising about it though is I went out one day because we had a big concrete job. So it was a landscaping firm. We did obviously landscaping, but also installed in-ground pools and did sidewalks, patios, that kind of stuff. And so we had a big concrete job and we needed an extra set of hands. So I went and then it got really hot and the concrete started to set up faster than expected. And so Mike said, "Abby, grab a trowel. You're going to finish the concrete today or it's going to get away from us." So I grabbed the hand trowel, and turns out I have a talent for finishing concrete. I actually really like to do that, and I was on the concrete crew for the rest of the summers that I worked there. But it turns out that being good at finishing concrete doesn't actually get you out of the hard work of running the come along and the tedious work of forming the concrete. But that was an awesome job, and I learned a lot in the 4 summers that I worked there. I worked with great people, and aside from acquiring this surprising skill, I learned how to be a good boss and a good leader from Mike. It was my first experience really understanding that you have to motivate people beyond their paycheck to want to do a good job, and Mike's very good at that. So thank you to him for taking a chance on me, and that is the surprising thing: I can finish concrete. The other question is about the aesthetic of Kokomo, and it's a throwback question from Nan Braun of Shack Makerspace from a couple of months ago actually, and she asked this jam-packed question that was just too big to unpack in a coffee club, so I thought I'd come back around to it. This week I was canvassing and I got to spend some time on the Industrial Heritage Trail. So it kind of goes into what I think the aesthetic of Kokomo is. I think if you take that on the surface, you would think, what does Kokomo look like? You'll just take the visual piece of that question. And so, I think we're looking pretty good in lots of ways. So we've got, new public art, very exciting murals that are going up right now. Those are so cool. If you haven't seen them, check them out downtown. And we've got new buildings and new homes and new trails. But we also have some places that have been ignored and are in need of attention. And so, like I said, this past week I was on the Industrial Heritage Trail and just really thinking about how cool it was and nice that we have this in Kokomo. And I looked up and I saw remnants of the Rust Belt. So we are absolutely in a Rust Belt state. We have an industrial background, we have a manufacturing base, we build things, and Rust Belt states have been hit pretty hard in the last few years, several years, from a changing global economy, outsourcing of jobs, things like that. So but then when I was on the trail and I looked ahead, I saw the op shop, and it made me think about the difference between the way things look and just look, and the way that they feel and how we express that visually. So that's what aesthetic is all about, is what is the soul of something and then how does it come out for other people to see. So the op shop was a really good example, in my opinion, of what Kokomo really is, because we don't just build things, we imagine and we adapt and we innovate and we build. It's not all about what you see on the outside, it's about the incredible ability that's on the inside of this community to reinvent things. So really, we're the total package. We just have to remind ourselves and other people of that. So I think that's what I think our aesthetic is just this. It's not always what you see is what the true capacity is on the inside. And there's this trend in kind of crafts, probably the wrong word, but recently called upcycling. You may have heard of it. It's, you know, taking something that used to be something else, and repurposing it, reimagining it, and making it something new. I actually have a yarn holder. Like I said, I crochet and I knit, and so it's always a struggle to figure out where you're going to put your yarn stash. So my dad installs grain systems, and I took some old rusty conveyor belts, put them up on my wall, and now I store my yarn in those. So that's an upcycling. And so I got to thinking, you know, I've been driving past the General Motors for a really long time, and I always imagine what it used to be like when 10,000 plus people worked there. What did that parking lot look like when it was full? And then a couple of years ago, I stopped thinking about the past, and I started thinking about the future and what it could be if we reimagined this asset that we have, and what it might be in the future. So I will leave you with that big question, because I think it's one of the biggest opportunities we have. What happens if we reimagine what GM could be? Thank you for watching Coffee Club. Cheers, and have an awesome week.